Okay, I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce are master manipulators of the media. And I also think, yeah. And I think that they are to the point, they will manipulate almost anything. Like, I think it's bad karma to lie about the state of your marriage. Jay-Z is accepted by white America because he shakes hands and kisses babies. No disrespect, because I'm a fan. But nobody brings up the fact that he stabbed somebody and sold drugs. He gets a pass. Okay, I remember when he stabbed...
Girl, this turns dark before you even have time to settle in. Do y'all remember when Jay-Z and Nas were circling each other like enemies in the 90s? Between the venom in their diss records and those icy interviews, both men exposed every scar in public while the crowd devoured every second. And the fan battles only made the chaos louder and uglier. But according to Wendy Williams, this war was never really about hip-hop in the first place. She claimed the real spark was far more personal. It began with a woman. Not just any woman either. Allegedly Nas' baby mama, the same one Jay-Z supposedly got pregnant and then flaunted just to provoke him. Wendy somehow unearthed one of rap's most vicious rivalries. And now the past is circling back toward the Carters.
New York City chose me, and Jay caught an attitude and started crying about it. And now they coming at your boy like, yo, Nas, you gotta be easy, because Def Jam paying them to do this, do that.
Yeah.
Nah, yo, I'm a rebel. I'm for the people, man. I ain't with all of that. You ain't got Johnny Ina, who's my man, paying nobody to protect me. I deal with my consequences like a straight warrior and a trooper to the death.
People love to pretend Jay-Z only existed once Beyonce stepped into the spotlight, but long before that fairy tale image, Jay-Z had a past most folks barely talk about. Rumors say Jay-Z fathered at least 6 or 7 children with different women before ever marrying Beyonce. And one of those women was Carmen Bryan. Carmen Bryan might not be a household name, yet she became one of the few people trapped right in the middle of the war between Nas and Jay-Z. For context, Carmen is the mother of Nas's first child, Destiny. Carmen met Nas while he was still chasing his first album deal. She worked as a receptionist at Def Jam and later Capitol Records, which is where she crossed paths with Nas and eventually Jay-Z. While Nas and Carmen were waiting for their daughter to be born, he released his debut album. That record transformed Nas from an unknown hustling rapper into one of the most wanted names in music. Girl, suddenly everybody needed a piece of him, including Jay-Z. Jay-Z allegedly asked Nas to appear on Bring It On for his debut album, Reasonable Doubt. But Nas never showed up to the session. No call, no excuse, just silence. That disrespect burned Jay-Z, probably deeper than Nas ever imagined. Jay-Z started looking for a way to settle things quietly. And that's when his attention shifted toward Carmen. Back then, Carmen had no clue about the silent tension brewing between the two rappers. All she noticed was Jay-Z showing interest in her. Since her relationship with Nas was already falling apart, he was unfaithful, she was unfaithful, Carmen decided to follow the temptation and see what would happen. And child, that decision turned into a disaster waiting to unfold.
You sleep with Nas's enemy. And the truth is, you have to ask yourself, when were Jay-Z and Nas ever enemies? Like, when were they nemesis, you know? The truth is, the dispute between these two individuals is a result of my affair with Jay-Z.
Everything spiraled the moment Nas discovered the truth. And Carmen admitted it plainly, saying he strayed, she strayed, but the real issue was the man she chose to stray with. If it had been some random nobody, maybe the damage would have stayed contained, but she crossed a line by getting involved with someone moving in the exact same music circles. Jay-Z later fired a public shot at Nas about the affair on his track Takeover, and that was the point where everything truly collapsed. The second Jay-Z released Takeover, Nas was desperate to answer back, and he kept Carmen close so the world could see she still stood beside him, proof that Jay-Z had no real claim. The problem was Carmen was already carrying Jay-Z's child and trapped between both sides. But after she suffered a miscarriage, the reality finally settled in that Jay-Z had never really wanted her. He just knew being with her would cut Nas deeper than words ever could.
Pregnant by Jay?
Yes, I had a miscarriage.
Okay, this is before the whole
This is, yeah,
takeover.
this is like
Okay.
before all of that.
How far along were you?
I believe I was definitely less than 3 months. It was the first trimester. Yeah, it wasn't.
It was still early.
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't planned. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna have this baby and, you know, move forward with our. No.
Okay. When you told Jay that you were pregnant, what was his reaction?
I told him after the fact.
Oh, you told him after?
I told him after the fact.
Okay, so he didn't even know.
No, I told him after the fact.
Jay-Z also tried turning the drama into a full narrative, almost recreating the tension between Tupac and Biggie after Tupac once bragged about being involved with Faith Evans while she was still married to Biggie. It wasn't until Carmen finally walked away from Jay-Z for good that Nas unleashed ether. On that record, Nas fired back by accusing him of carrying on with Foxy Brown, who had been closely associated with Nas through the firm.
And now that Nas took a stand, people are starting to really understand, like how it is. And I just wanted to call up and let people know that this is what I've been trying to do for years. And I've always got that reputation. But at the end of the day, we made them pay up.
Yeah.
Nas exposed every buried secret on that diss record. And it clearly rattled Jay-Z because when he answered with super ugly, all the subtle shots disappeared. Once again, he barely addressed Nas himself and instead leaned on the claim that he had been involved with Carmen while she was still with Nas. According to Wendy, super ugly wasn't some calculated move. Jay-Z never expected Nas to strike so hard with Ether, so he reacted emotionally and rushed to respond. The fallout was so ugly that Jay-Z's own mother stepped in and forced him to apologize after the harsh remarks he made about Carmen and even their daughter Destiny.
I realized what Jay was doing. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna allow him to belittle Nas anymore. Like, I'm the only person on the planet that could belittle this nigga. I'm not letting anybody else have that opportunity.
But even after that, Jay-Z went back at Nas on the title track of his Blueprint 2 album, insisting he was the stronger man, doubling down on everything he said in Super Ugly, and warning that his mother would not be stepping in to defend Nas again. And child, all of this was unfolding right when Wendy was dominating radio at her peak. Anyone listening back then knows she was far more fearless than she ever appeared on television. She had sources, quiet informants, and supposed proof on nearly everybody, including Jay-Z. Allegedly, while Jay-Z was involved with Beyoncé, he kept assuring Carmen that marriage was coming. But insiders claimed it was really about getting under Nas's skin. And according to Wendy, Jay-Z was even the one who allegedly pressured Carmen into ending the pregnancy.
So I'm reading the article, nobody else's name is brought up. Then I run across what the couple found most, it's in the Inquirer. You gotta show the cover for legal reasons. And here's the article. Okay. What the couple found most difficult to deal with, says another source, was the fact that some of the rumors were being perpetuated by people they considered friends, like talk show host Wendy Williams. Well, first of all, you're not a credible source, because if you were, then you would know I've never partied with them. I've never been to their house. I don't swim in their pool. Like, we're not friends. I'm a pop culture pundit and commentator, right? That's what you call it. Pop culture woman. And I talk about people and what they're doing when they're celebrities like you. So we're not friends, but I do like you and I respect both of their grinds, and I certainly am happy for the baby. But
Wendy was never exactly fond of Jay-Z. And in her view, this entire saga exposed the kind of man he truly was. Usually when a rap feud erupts like this, the artist who comes out looking weaker ends up paying for it professionally. But Jay-Z walked away untouched, and many believe that was because he mastered the media and shielded his reputation even while taking ruthless shots at Nas. And honestly, the internet still echoes that sentiment. One person asked why, with so many women across the world, these men always seem to circle back to the same ones. They argued that Jay-Z was calculated and patient, studying every move before stepping in to secure his position. To them, he always operated with strategy and hidden intentions, and she was simply part of a bigger objective. Jay-Z once admitted he targeted Nas and Prodigy because they stood among the sharpest lyricists in New York. So it seems likely that was his mindset when he became involved with her. In that way, she might be right that it revolved around her, but only because Jay-Z designed it that way. Nas devastated Jay-Z with Ether. But what do y'all think about all this? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe before you go.